The power of prayer and God's grace. There are moments in life when words fail us, when the weight of the world presses so heavily on our shoulders that we don't know where to turn, when the diagnosis comes back wrong, when the relationship falls apart, when the job disappears, when the grief is so deep that even breathing feels like work. It is in those moments, those quiet, desperate, beautiful moments, that we discover the true power of prayer. Prayer is not a magic formula. It is not a machine where we insert our request and wait for the universe to deliver. Prayer is something far more profound. It is a conversation, a relationship, a daily act of trust between human soul and the God who created it. When we pray, we are not informing God of something He doesn't already know. We are positioning ourselves to receive what He has already prepared. We are opening the door of our hearts and saying, I cannot do this alone, and I was never meant to. Throughout history, prayer has moved mountains, not always in the way we expected, but always in the way we needed. A mother prays over her sick child through long hours of the night, and a peace that suppresses all understanding fills the room. A man at the end of his rope cries out in the moment of desperation, and something shifts inside him. A strength he didn't know he had began to rise. A woman who has prayed the same prayer for years finally sees the answer unfold before her eyes and realizes that God's timing is not slow, it is perfect. Prayer changes things, but more importantly, prayer changes us. And then there is grace. If prayer is the conversation, grace is the answer we didn't deserve but received anyway. Grace is God looking at our broken pieces, our failures, our fears, our worst moments, and choosing us anyway. Not because we earned it, not because we were good enough, because that is simply who God is. The Apostle Paul wrote, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Think about that. The very places where we feel most unqualified, most ashamed, most broken, those are the places where God's grace is powerfully at work. Grace says, you don't have to have it all together. Grace says, yesterday's mistakes do not define tomorrow's story. Grace says, come as you are, and I will make you into who you were created to be. There is something extraordinary that happens when prayer and grace meet. When we bring our weakness to God in prayer, He meets us with grace in return. We are transformed, not overnight, not all at once, but steadily, faithfully, the way a river shapes a stone, over time and with great gentleness. Some of the most powerful people who have ever walked this earth were not powerful because of their talent or their title. They were powerful because they were people of prayer. They had learned the secret that the world often overlooks, that on their knees, they were stronger than standing alone. Maybe today you are carrying something heavy. Maybe the road ahead looks uncertain, and your faith feels small. That's okay. Jesus said faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. You don't need perfect faith. You just need a willing heart. So pray, not because you have all the right words, but because God hears even the prayers we cannot fully speak. Pray in the morning when the day stretches out unknown before you. Pray at night when the worries creep in. Pray in the middle of an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, because God is just as present there as He is anywhere. And when you pray, receive grace. Let it wash over you. Let it remind you that you are loved beyond measure, held beyond your understanding, and guided by a hand that never lost its way. The power of prayer is real. The grace of God is boundless. And for those who believe, neither one will ever run out.